Welcome, welcome.
And welcome to another episode of More Conversations with the Average Black Man. I am Timotheus, and this is my co-host Morphine. And today we want to, get into some, a good topic of conversation. We want to discuss the top social movements and issues that have changed the society within the last 20 years. From
Yes.
Black Lives Matter to LGBT rights to the Me Too movement, the effects of social media on our society, that type of stuff.
Right.
How you feel about it, Morphine?
I mean, this is going to be a good conversation today. We're only talking about the social movements that happen within, I guess you would say, my adulthood. We're not going to go too far back into history with this. We're just going to stay current, at least as current as we possibly can. We're going to break some things down. We got some clips for y'all, as we usually would do every Monday. So we're going to get into this thing. We have some, of course, some things that we want to say. Get some understanding before we dive deep into opinions about the topic, and we want to open up the lines so everybody can have their opinion and their comment and their thoughts
For
shared.
everyone to be heard. Since we're talking about social issues in society, you the viewers, you are the society. So come on up and join the
Give
conversation.
up them thoughts.
If you're
Don't keep them in. Just let it out.
pin go to your page and pin the YouTube on your YouTube. I did it in the other two already.
All right, all right.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So let's just go ahead and jump right on into it right now. I want to talk about Black Lives Matter. Now, Black Lives Matter is a very, very important movement to the society indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very, very important to society. It its purpose was to raise awareness of police brutality that was happening within the community. Now, ha- what it grew into being, and the backlash that it faced at the end, very unfortunate because it just basically made what it set out to be a joke, which is horrible. You know what I mean? Like it was meant to show a certain thing, and then it was made a mockery. It had the anti All Lives Matter, which was basically like duh, but that's not what we're saying. Black Lives Matter is an organization that was aimed at bringing awareness to a particular thing, that thing being police brutality in the black community. You wouldn't go to a breast cancer event and be like, "Oh, cancer's bad." You know what I mean? Like, but I digress. I digress. Because- but I digress. So let's get to one of these to the good please them.
All right. We're gonna get to the meats and potatoes of all this. Okay, so let's start with the introductory. Introductory. You wanna go straight to the clip?
Yeah, let's see what they talking about because we can build off of this.
All right, we started with what? Black Lives Matter.
I want to start using this page to talk a little bit more about community organizing and like how to get started in that. First, I do want to talk more broadly about social movements. So, a social movement is a purposeful organized group that is striving towards some kind of common social goal. In 1966, a sociologist named David Aberley identified 4 different types of social movements. There are alternative social movements, which seek limited changes to individual thoughts and beliefs. Think recycling. And there's reformative social change, which is trying to change something specific, but for a really big population, like the women's suffrage movement. Then redemptive social movements seek like a radical personal change or basically like a spiritual change. These are like religious movements. And then revolutionary social movements are looking to change everything about a society, like the civil rights movement or the current anti-imperialist movement. There are also different stages of the social movement, and these were described in the 60s by another sociologist named Herbert Blumer. Bear with me. So first we got emergence. There's not much organization. It's just like a group of frustrated individuals. The movement is a lot of times catalyzed by an initiating event. So like Black Lives Matter would have been catalyzed by the murder of Trayvon Martin. Then we got coalescence, and this is when people join together and start to get organized. Then bureaucratization. This is when the organization is the strongest and the movement usually gains political power. This leads to success, failure, co-optation, repression, or mainstreaming. And then the movement goes into decline. A decline is not necessarily bad, especially if the movement is a success. The women's suffrage movement was successful, right? Women got the right to vote. White women, at least. Example of a failed movement is the Occupy movement. When a movement is co-opted, it becomes a part of the system that they're trying to dismantle. Labor movements are pretty susceptible to this. Repression is self-explanatory, right? And there's mainstreaming, which is different than co-optation. Think like the birth control movement. It's still kind of contested, but largely birth control is normal. Next time, I promise we'll talk about concrete steps people can take if they want to get organized. Follow my page for more. Bye. All right, so I want
All right, all right. She said a whole lot. She said a whole lot, a lot. You on mute. You on mute. You on mute. If you talking,
Where do we want to start off? Where the fact, because she broke down this thing all the way.
Yeah, she broke it down all the way. It ain't nothing else to say.
Listen, in our notes, I'm gonna go back to the notes. In our notes, when it comes down to the Black movement, it's a social movement that began in 2023. You know, it focused though it was supposed to focus on racism, but you know, like you said before, and as you introduced it, it got hijacked by some other people that had its own agendas and things of that nature. So
yeah, the Black Lives Matters movement absolutely got co-opted by a certain creed of individuals. I'll say it that way for you too. It was hijacked by a certain creed of individuals, and they hijacked the word woke. And over time, woke began to mean anything that was DEI initiative or, you know, it got co-opted into the LGBT rights. You start seeing T-shirts that said "Trans Lives Matter." No, it opened up a whole lot.
right. And another thing that happened is after that happened, it left. I left a nasty like little taste in people's mouths as far as well, how do we support Black lives and we support the productivity of the police, how they treat us, how the government treat us. If this movement is so saturated with people that aren't for us. So where do we go now? What's the next Black movement? And if we do have a next Black movement, are people going to respect us? Was the whole thing for the infiltration of a Black movement? Was it for uh, how can I say? So the next Black movement, someone wouldn't take so seriously. It was to take the seriousness of it.
Welcome to the stage, Mrs. Fields, and I think I don't think there'll be another Black movement because there's so much contention amongst the Black community itself. You know, the conscious community itself. Look how many different factions are in the conscious community. So, I don't think that if we can't agree on something to stand on, I don't think there'll be another movement. You know what I mean? But the conscious community, we don't even agree on being Black. You know,
Well, yeah, we can't even agree on whether we want to be Black, whether we want to be African American, whether we want to be what is it? What is it? Foundational Black, whatever the hell they came up with nowadays.
Hebrew Israelite, Comedics, Nuwapians. The list goes on and on and on.
That part.
All right. Welcome to the stage, Mrs. Field.
Hey, Miss Fields.
Thank you, thank you. Hello, everybody.
All right.
Hellos, hellos.
So yeah, we're just
Uh-huh.
going over these social issues that have changed our society within the last 20 years. Those movements being the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter, LGBT rights, and the impact of social media on our society.
All right, I'm just let me listen for a minute because I just got out here and so I'm just yeah. Give me a second, y'all.
No worries, no worries.
I would like to say on the movements that affected us today with the Black Lives Matters movement. I think it affected us in a way where we was all coming together as Black people, but at the same time, um, they also is going to provoke other movements like the All Lives Matter movement that didn't really take off too far, as not as
Well, it
far
was
as
a
Black Lives.
protest. That was a literal protest to the protest.
Yeah,
I
there was a protest to the
I
protest.
personally, this is my opinion. My opinion. Emphasis on my opinion. To me, all lives matter was racist. They tried. They were trying to say the Black Lives statement was racist. Black Lives Matter was racist, but that was just the name of the organization that was targeted at bringing awareness to police brutality in the Black community. You wouldn't go to a breast cancer event and say all cancer's bad. You know what I'm saying? You just wouldn't do that. It
Well,
was just
I think that I would add, as far as BLM, knowing now what we didn't know then, it had a impact on things going forward because, you got to remember they were exposed for a lot of things, pretty much scamming people. So now it's going to be less people trying to make a movement because there's always going to be that skepticism on, okay, is this really a real movement or is this another BLM movement where
Right.
they're just kind of channeling and funneling money from the people and not really doing anything. So when people do things like that, then it hurts further movements that could better the communities in our people. So I think that one was kind of fucked up. Well, no, not kinda. It was fucked up. But again, what they did kind of makes it hard for the next person to come along and try to do something genuine because everybody's always going to have questions.
and
Well,
on top
yeah.
of that, I don't know if you were on when I said on top of that, it got co-opted to where the word woke is not even associated with Black people being aware of the situation of the systemic racism that's in place. Now woke just has a broad landscaping meaning of everything from LGBT, anything that falls under civil rights now is woke. Woke.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
LGBT, religious, everything like that is considered.
Well, it's supposed to be, the word is supposed to be used in a way of enlightenment. Like I've been enlightened from what I was taught in the algorithm and life, the way society is made. So I'm gonna come out of that, and I'm gonna be woke from that. I was sleeping in that, so I'm gonna be awoke from that. I think that will always open doors.
But that
Every
but
uh,
that's what it
like
means
social
now.
movement is going to open doors for others.
like
So,
like for example, I play video games, right? There's a big blow up in the video game community. One of the biggest companies that have one of the hugest franchises, Assassin's Creed, is about to go under because, and this is what the video game community is saying. The game went woke. They put their lead character in a game that's based in feudal Japan. You know what I mean? The time of Emperor Nobunaga and the shoguns. They put a black dude in there as a samurai and they made him gay. And they're saying that's woke. They're like, oh, the game went woke. That's what you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not with the whole woke word. I will say
I think that's
sometimes
well.
I like to say that I have been awakened from a lot of the bullshit that was indoctrinated in me, and I see through a lot of bullshit nowadays. So, but I don't use the word woke ever. I think, like you said, it's too broad now. It's like it contains everything. You stubbed your toe and you realized it was painful. Now you woke. Like everything is woke. So I don't personally use the word, but I agree with y'all.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. I don't think we need to play this second clip. I'm gonna move on to the next category, being the hashtag Me Too movement. So,
Oh wow.
so first and foremost, I'm gonna look into the camera. First and foremost, the movement was needed. There were instances of assault that needed to be addressed, and people needed to be held accountable. Let's start with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We accept that. We accept
But
that.
but what it has, the effect of it is what we're talking about. How it's changed our society. The effect of it has been more negative than positive, in my opinion. And I'm gonna play this clip.
A paper came out recently that looked at the impact of the Me Too movement on academia, and it actually shows that post Me Too, women's productivity fell largely due to fewer collaborations with male researchers. It shows that this drop is most pronounced at universities where the perceived risk of sexual harassment accusations is highest. The actual findings comparing research before and after the movement are right here. And as you can see, after the Me Too movement, collaborations with male researchers inside the same institution fell to close to zero. The author points out that men feel like if they accidentally say the wrong thing, canceled or fired. She also notes that institutions that have clear policies on sexual harassment help reduce this perceived risk. This isn't just in academia. The paper also study which showed that 60% of male managers are uncomfortable participating in common activities with women due to the same concerns. And a curious finding of the study was that men make up for the loss in this collaboration by just collaborating more with other men, whereas women don't make up for it at all. The author concludes her findings by saying that Me Too was important for raising awareness, but it's also increasingly important for institutions to have really clear sexual harassment guidelines.
He just said what I said.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I
totally agree with that. I can agree with that.
The negative impact outweighs the positive, and that's unfortunate because, and what I think was the nail in the coffin that made this have a negative connotation is this one phrase that was attached to it, and that phrase is "believe all women." That was the nail. That was the most damaging thing I think that was attached to the Me Too movement because it gave an automatic guilty verdict to any man that was ever accused. The woman could be lying, but believe all women. If I said he did it, he did it. If I said he did it, he did it. Are you calling me a liar? You calling me a liar? Oh, you're telling me there's so many women that are victims of blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? I think that was the most damaging part to it because it created a space like the man was saying right there to where it was affecting women in college and in businesses because men just opted out of working with women to avoid being falsely accused of anything. And I landed.
I think the Me Too movement in the past 20 years have extended to more than just women. It might have started off like that, but it extended itself more than just the women. It extended itself to men as well, being victims of men. I think to always believe the victim or the accuser, it's not good on any sides, like whether it was grape or not grape. I think it's a wrong thing on both sides, but at the same time, to believe them 100%, to believe to believe them 100%, and to not to believe them 100% is a slippery fucking slope. Like either you're going to believe them or you don't. It's hard as hell to prove grape, bruh. Like that's some hard shit. How you prove that?
Like, that's what I'm saying. I could have male bias, but it just like when New York City and a couple of other places came out and they said, okay, we're gonna suspend the statute of limitation for 30 days. So we're gonna suspend the statute of limitation for 30 days. Any woman that want to come out and say somebody did something to him, now is your chance. As a man, that is giving incentive for false accusations. But that's just me. I could have a male bias.
I would say this: there is no way of not having false accusations or allegations. Like there is no way of not having that. Whether she says something or he, because I don't want to disclude the guys or whatever. Whether it's a he or she, you don't want to not believe him, but you don't want to totally believe him 100%. However, this one little gray area of being able to prove that is very difficult for a man or a woman. And right now in 2024, it's men that's coming out saying, hey, you did XYZ to me, or hey, you make me feel very you did something to me inappropriately. So
and they're not being taken serious at all.
yeah, they're not taken serious at all. At all.
Welcome to the stage, Neo Love. Welcome to the stage, Neo Love.
Welcome, the only one, the only
Mrs. Fields, you had something to say. You just came off mute.
Yeah, sorry, Billy was talking to me. I guess the only thing I really have to add to that is I can agree with the guy in the video as well, where, and I agree with you as well, Tim, where yes, there were certain things that were needed to be brought to light, but then people just made it very uncomfortable and made it to the point where it's like now you just don't know what to believe, when to believe, how to believe. And it kind of takes away when people are kind of jumping on bandwagons um and it takes away from the real victims that actually have been assaulted or have gone through something. And you know and like Morphine said, there are a lot of males that are coming out now as well, like, hey, when you did this, you made me feel uncomfortable. But like you said, that's not taken as seriously, right? That's a man. If I touch his butt, that's supposed to be okay. He's supposed to be flattered. But if he touches my butt, it's supposed to be a problem if I go and complain. So, like you said, the Me Too movement was, I guess it was it was needed, but people fucked it up. I guess that's the best way to put it.
I think that's going to be the theme of this show today. How people just fucked up social movements that we probably really, really needed or still need. And they just fucked it up. But I also have a conspiracy with this, though. I think it was supposed to be that way. Like, I think people, the ones that did fuck it up, that was the intentions. So you wouldn't support blindly a Black Lives Matter or someone that said they were SA or great. That it'd be a full backing of it. It will be doubts in all of these, but we ain't even done. So let's go through it.
All right, so want me to play the other clip? Don't show them the knuckle stuff. Show them the knuckle stuff.
The Me Too movement. My name is Maureen Hayquist, and I'm a women's rights attorney at HAE.
That is a very, very low.
Movement, employers can get women to sign agreements preventing them from talking about the sexual harassment and discrimination that they experienced in the workplace. But now women can talk about what happened to them, no matter what.
Okay, so that video was very, very low. But what she said is that she's an attorney, and that there were HR rules in place that prevented women from talking about previous essay that had happened to them in the workplace. But now laws have been passed to where women can express freely and talk about issues of essay in the workplace, of assault.
Well, yeah, I would say, yeah. I mean, like you said in the beginning, there's an environment where men don't want to work around women because they don't want to be accused of SA or great. They don't want to even be in that position for a woman to accuse them of that. But at the same time, not at the same time, on the other end of this spectrum, women feel as though that they can't even say or talk about it because they don't want to be in a position where they're going to lose their job or they're going to be looked at differently or they're going to be a perpetual fucking victim. So there's that.
Stigma, right, the stigma.
The stigma that goes with it. Yeah.
And that's, to me, in my opinion, that is the problem. The problem is that the minority of women that make these false accusations actually cause more harm to the women that actually are victims. Because all it takes is one or two false accusations. And then, like I mentioned earlier, how they came out and they suspended the statute of limitations for 30 days. They even with Bill Cosby, how they brought accusations from 30 years ago. Like, How can you prove 30 years ago? So
Well,
instances like that, in my opinion, are what diminish the women that actually are victims. Because it's like how I go ahead because it's crazy.
no, I was going to say, I think that another question too that should also be what is considered SA, right? Because nowadays a woman can go to HR and just because he flirted with her and she's, maybe turned him down before and he's being nice to her, like, hey, your dress is pretty today. And now she's in HR, like, I told him to stop talking to me and trying to make advances at me. And they'll consider that probably, I guess it wouldn't be SA. It would just be like more like sexual harassment, which kind of falls into the same place when you come into, thinking about the workplace.
But again, it falls into that area of when it's Forrest Whitaker saying, "Good morning, Jess. You look pretty today." That's harassment. But when Morris Chestnut is like, "Good morning, Jessica. You look pretty today." That's
baby.
Listen, that thing work both ways, because men ain't going for this, The booger wolf always flirting with him and touching on him, they go to HR too. Like I said, this thing work both ways, It's
but
2024.
what I'm saying
Ain't be passive
but that's
anymore.
that goes part to that. What I'm saying before is that the false accusations, because what happened in both instances was the exact same thing. I'm using celebrities, so I'm just using celebrities as an example. So Forrest Whitaker saying, "Good morning, Jessica. You look beautiful today. That's a nice dress." Versus Morris Chestnut saying, "Good morning, Jessica. You look beautiful. That's a nice dress." One will go to HR. Forrest Whitaker, as he looked at me with that low eye. I couldn't tell if he that eye got beady. I think he was he was trying to be like, inappropriately looking at me with his beady eye. You know what I mean? But when Morris Chestnut did it, it was totally. It was thank you, Morris.
Well, and that's why I asked the question that these I think is important to ask too. Where does the line draw, and especially in the workplace, when it comes to SA or harassment? Because sometimes they'll classify the harassment the same as the SA. You see what I mean?
Right.
But the line is drawn in the accusation. That's the line.
And then that goes back to what the guy said and what Morphine retouched upon, where there's a lot of men, they don't even feel comfortable working around women because they don't even want, like, I don't even want to say good morning because if I say good morning too nicely, you might think I'm trying to get your cookies. And I was just saying good morning.
And that works in, all right, can I bring up how you could say a woman could be nice to a guy at work? The same thing. I think guys feel the same way. Men could definitely can relate to this. You say hi to one of the guys that may feel like they're not attractive or they may have some underlying insecurities, and you're nice to him, and you're not nice in a way that is sexually, but just hospitable. And you're hospitable to that person, and they just automatically think that there is a sexual attraction, and all you're doing is being hospitable. So it works with men the same way. All they doing is being hospitable, and women take it as, oh, that's a sexual advance, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But that thing worked both ways though, because I've
No,
done
I
it.
agree.
I've been hospitable to men, and it's like,
Line,
it's all overt.
line starts when the woman goes to HR. Neo Love, you came off mute, you're making a lot of noise. I don't know if you know that you did that or not. You want to say something, bro? Okay.
No, did Mr. Love want to get in on this?
That's what I was saying. I don't, if he came off mute
I
to
don't think we do.
something. Okay, we got Coach Spurg. Coach Spurg, welcome. Oh, go ahead.
Oh.
Coach Spurg, welcome to the stage. Neo Love, were you trying to do something or you did that on accident?
No, I was gonna say something. I forgot what I was about to say. I'm in the truck though, so I'm just listening to y'all. I forgot what I was about to say, and that's why I went back on mute. My bad.
Okay. Welcome to the stage, Maurice. Welcome to the stage, Coach Ferg.
What's
I
going
just
on? How
wanted
you
to.
doing?
Oh, hey, Maurice. I just
What's
wanted
up?
to
Come
agree with
on.
Morphine right quick because I have had a couple incidents where like I was just hospitable to guys and like they ended up having like little crushes on me, and I'm like, oh, I was just being nice, like I didn't, yeah. So she's
What
right;
up?
it can go both ways.
Yeah. But that's just I think that's a young man's thing that men develop real young that I think we cleave to for ego purposes. Like, if I'm just out somewhere and a woman smile at me and say, "How you doing?" and smile real big and cheese, have a great day. I'm like, what she want this day.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
That's
That's
all
what I
right.
was about to
Now
say.
he
I
got his
was
thoughts.
about to say.
He got his thoughts
I
back.
was
Go ahead,
about to say,
love.
if I'm being hospitable and extra nice, it's safe for a woman to think. You can jump in my inbox. It's safe. You know, I'm not gonna say no. Don't jump in my inbox. Jump in my motherfucking inbox. That's why I'm being hospitable. Yes, yes.
Well, yeah,
So
like this
y'all
is
send confusing ass messages where y'all be all nice to us, and we know, like real talk. Every nigga know what it is. We know when that woman being extra nice to you every time she see you. That means if I wasn't in my situation, it would be on. That's what that means. Like
So,
hands
but
down, no.
that shows to show
word.
you that goes to show you
Yeah.
that like women in general are pretty mean to men. Like like the fact that a woman would say something nice to a man and all of a sudden he jumps from like 0 to 100 about, oh shoot, this is the one. That speaks a lot to how men in general get treated by women. Like they don't exist or they treated like they're less than, right? But then there is that ego aspect too that does play a part.
Yeah, I
Anybody else?
gotta cross my arms on this because all a person want to do is just say, "Good morning, how was your day?" That doesn't mean that I want to screw you.
Well, you're speaking about your individual situation because
I'm
you
No,
have
with
to remember.
Morphine on that
Miss
one.
Fields actually agreed, and I'm sure there's other women that will agree. Just because I speak on something doesn't mean it's individual. Definitely, if you're
Hell
speaking
No,
no.
for
no,
There's
I'm,
a
most
I'm,
women,
difference
like
I'm,
between
ex- I'm,
speak.
ex-
There's a
I
I'm, ex-
mean,
difference
I'm, ex-
between speaking.
I'm explaining like you're like a piece in the whole like macrocosm of what's going on with that man, right? So if you're nice to that man, there's a whole microcosm, that whole microcosm, macrocosm that's going on with that man, and
Hold on,
then
hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is what we're talking about right now. This is exactly what we're talking about.
I like your hair.
Appreciate you.
I like your smile too.
Thank you.
You welcome.
Bro, they out here right now, bro. Shorty just tried to eat me up. Bro, shut all that.
you're right.
Damn. But I got my if I knock it down, you feel
There
me?
you
Come
go.
on,
Like,
bro. You gonna one knock me down, bro. Everybody gonna one knock me down. I ain't no thought, you feel me? I ain't about to have all them running the train. I'm knocking me down. Back to back to back to back to back. God, that can I, boy? One thing about me, though, I'm gonna pull. This girl really just came through.
Yeah, they own me. They own me.
I just came through.
okay, you can't
I'm
even
back.
be nice no more. You can't even be nice no more,
yeah, you can't
dog.
even be nice. Lord
Damn,
have
like,
mercy.
oh, I like your hair. Oh shit, them shoes nice. You look
She
good
want to give me
today.
some coochie.
No, you just look nice today. Like what the fudge?
I'm sorry to cut
Yesterday
you off,
you
Maurice,
looked like
but
shit, but today
I,
you look
I
nice.
remembered that. I remembered that I had to play that. I'm sorry to cut you off, brother.
I'm just saying though, if he got that same thing every single day, like women love to complain about how they get complimented every day, always got a guy approaching them every day, he would not react that way.
Right. It's like me and someone else in the back chat was talking the other day because I was mentioning that I was listening to videos at work about how men don't go to singles events, and it was like, well, why would men pay money to buy tickets to go to a rejection party? you know, you know what I mean? like we don't get dissed enough. We gonna pay money. And I was talking to my buddy about it too, and we were talking about how this is why it's really bad, because if it's 10 guys and 10 girls, and they're groups of 5, there's 5 friends and 5 friends, and 5 friends or whatever. if one guy talks to a girl in a group of 5 friends, and that girl says no, if he tries to talk to her friend, she's like, well, you just tried to talk to my friend. Why you gonna talk to me? So now he talked to one girl, she shot him down, and that made all 5 of them out of the picture now.
Homeboy screwed up, man. When you approach a group of any group of girls, man, you talk to them all.
You gotta scout. You gotta scout it. You gotta be
You talk to
scouting
them
Damn
before.
all at the
right.
same
See,
time.
You gotta know where
Maurice
your
know the
prey is.
procedure.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah,
you gotta
because
know your target. You gotta pick your target wisely.
women have that beehive mentality, man. They all in one mind. So you gotta make sure they all kind of approve of you first, and then you pull one shorty aside, and then you have that conversation.
Anyone watching want to come to the panel, just click the link in the comments and we'll bring you onto the
Oh
stage.
my God.
The link is in the
How y'all
comments.
doing today?
All
How
right,
you
Trey.
doing,
How you
Coach?
doing, Coach Ford?
Oh man, how y'all doing? What's up now? I've been listening to the first part. I'm gonna answer to say something regarding the first part. I think guys, I grew up with sisters, so it wasn't a big thing for me to comment on women that I work with. I would say hello. I would never comment on how you look. Never. Because I learned early in my life, I'm not going to play where I work and where I lay. I think a lot of guys make a mistake on commenting on women at work because I don't want you to get no idea that we'll ever date. We're just going to be co-workers. I'm going to always speak to you in a professional way. I'm going to always make sure that other people are around. I don't need to comment on your new dress. That's not me. But again, people are different. They see what they see, and I don't think a lot of guys have had enough experience younger to really just embrace. If females look good, don't mean you always got to comment on them because, as you can see today, you can get yourself in trouble because they're going to take advantage of an opportunity to sort of, I look at it like this: if you're an attractive guy, it don't matter what you say to her. You can go in there and call her ugly. She be like, "Oh, you so silly, boy."
Oh,
But if you ain't attractive, though, she gon' probably follow through. But I don't think. But here's the thing: guys gotta admit that they ugly. Admit that. Go up to a girl and say, "Look, I know I'm ugly and ain't your type." She'll probably want to get with you because you're not afraid to be vulnerable. It's not being vulnerable, but you have a sense of humor. You know what I'm saying? Guys don't have a sense of humor. And it's okay. I used to tell a girl all the time, listen, I know you don't like light-skinned dudes with bald head, but hey, I can change your life. Next thing you know, hey, I get whatever I want. But again, you just got to understand yourself. All women, listen, never date a woman that you work with. You can get with all her friends, but never date her. Because she already understands how you move. And if you're an attractive guy, women know if other women are attracted to you. And that group of girls together, you get one, listen, you got to catch the one that you like walk into the bathroom. When she get away from the pack, then you shoot your little shot and say, I'm going to come over and holler at you and your girls. Then when you get over her, she done already, girl, look at her, see him right there. So when you get over it now, they just trying to walk you down. And if another one of them are attracted to you, then you might be able to get what you want out of the deal, but never do it in the group. And just have a sense of humor about yourself. That's the easiest way to get them. You can make them laugh, then you got one foot in the door, but I would never recommend commenting on a woman at work. I don't care if she's fine, big butt, big breasts. Just be like, hello, how you doing, Saprita, and keep it moving. She'll catch you out to work. What's up? You going to happy hour? Let's go to happy hour. Then that's when you let her know, like, look, I know what I want to do with you, but you might be risky, so I ain't going to take too big of a chance. Oh, no, I ain't going to say nothing. What you mean?
and she'll walk it down for you. You ain't gotta do too much, but that's just me and my
Look,
experience. I don't know.
he over here giving y'all all the game.
Free
You know,
game.
Coach, the game is sold, not told. I'm gonna need you to stop doing it.
Don't forget the wingman though. When you deal with the
Look,
But these guys need to be told because they seem to make it think that it's just so hard. But I know women, not every woman likes me, so I'm okay with, making fun of myself because now, what I'm saying, that breaks the ice when I can make fun of myself. And well, you ain't usually my type, but you are handsome, you are cute, and blah blah blah. And I'm over here like, yeah, come on over here in this den over here so I can,
He like,
hey,
got
it is what it is.
look,
There you
I'm
go.
gonna say, I'm sitting here taking notes for my sons. What you talking about? He dropping gems for real. I'm about to have a talk tomorrow.
Look, he over here telling game that is sold to people. Shit, we
Right.
can be making M's off of this, Coach. What's wrong with you? It's like, no. But listen, that's some good advice. That's exactly what needs to be done. And then you know that women, if they see a group of guys, they will wait till you break and do the same shit. They go, if they try to shoot their shot, they're not going to shoot their shot and amongst a group of men. They're going to wait till y'all break. He goes to the bathroom, he goes to the bar, whatever. And they'll be like, hey, so spark up some, like she said, I like your such and such. Damn, that's that. I'm like, that's how women make the first attack. We started talking about what we like about you.
Yeah, I was gonna say we might not be like, hey, what's up? What you doing? You wanna go hang out? But we'll be like, hey, yeah, I saw what you did today in that meeting.
Right.
That's
Oh,
a
them
nice
shoes
shoes
is
you
fly.
got on.
I like that. Like,
So
I like your
I
vibe.
totally agree with that video. I totally agree with that video. That woman was really like, like telling him he can get it unless she has a boyfriend. But even if she
Why
has
do
a
you
boyfriend,
sound like you
she's
got auto
telling him
tune?
that she is attracted to him. She wasn't, so he wasn't lying.
I heard what you said. He do sound like he got
Goddamn,
all.
like like that shit meant something. That wasn't how she just talked to everybody.
Is she
That
over there
don't
over
mean
complimenting everybody, or is she really saying, okay, that's like I said, women do that. Like if we like you, we will love bomb you, I guess. If that's what that is, then I guess we'll love bomb. But we're not like
And
straight
also,
up doing what Coach said.
no, but it's tone of voice too. I think, I don't think guys practice the speaking from their diaphragm and knowing their tone because that tone of voice resonates through a woman's head and mind, and they're like, it's your voice. It's just something, listen, and this is about, I'm gonna be quick. I worked in education. Every day I would dress up. Every day I'm going into a professional setting. And when I would meet women, they would look at me and be like, you don't seem like you professional, but you are, because I could speak to them professional and I can speak to them slang and on the street level, but I always spoke with my voice, and I always held my chest up, not stuck my chest out, but I stand tall. If guys learn how to stand tall, stop standing with the cheerleading feet, where everybody stand with their feet slew-footed. To me, that's how women stood when I was a kid. So, man, it's about posture. It's about confidence. You look her in the eye, introduce yourself, say your name, stay away from sex, and I don't know.
No. I mean, everything you're saying is exactly what it is. Because I remember you said like, some of these cats out here complaining about how it's hard. I mean, it's not. They don't actually believe it's hard. The reality is they're trying to make excuses for their cowardice, right? They're not. They're scared. It's not hard. What needs to be done? Because having a conversation with somebody else, whether they're male or female, is not hard. They've done it before, so it's not hard. But there's a certain level of cowardice in approaching and actually putting themselves out there, like they're actually interested in you, and that person may not be interested in you back.
But is that cowardness or is that
That's
maybe more
cowardice.
fear of rejection?
That's the same thing.
Period.
What's the difference?
Well, I mean,
No.
but no, I think there's a slight difference. I think that the
Yeah.
cowardness comes from the fear of rejection. Like, I really like this woman. I want to tell her she's beautiful and that I'm attracted to her and that I would love to take her out. But maybe I'm not, 6'2". Maybe I'm not, the CEO, and maybe I'm not attractive,
All right,
per standards. So then it comes to more of a fear of rejection versus cowardice.
No, let's define cowardice. Cowardice is
Exactly.
like directly.
I agree with it. Before you go, I agree with it. I agree with what she's saying. That's not necessarily cowardice.
Explain my point.
We just got through talking about like the shit that can go on at work. That shit can go on anywhere. That sexual harassment charge, that can go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's a different day, a different age, and the stakes have been raised. It's no longer just, oh, the worst that could happen is no, there's a lot worse that can happen now. Then she could be recording you and put you on social media, fuck your game all the way up. Everybody in the city, like, that's the nigga that got shot down by this bitch. Like, this shit could really follow you around. Like, it's a different time. The stakes have been raised. Women are also less approachable. That is facts.
All right,
That's not in somebody's mind. That's really what it is. Women, when people say it's hard to approach women, that's what they mean.
No,
I don't care who you talking about, bro. I don't care who you said it's not hard to you. You said it's not hard. So how the hell you got an opinion on it and can say that's not what they're talking about when you're not the one talking about it? You say it's not hard. Listen to what I'm saying. You're one of the ones that's saying it's not hard. I'm talking about the ones that are saying it's hard. You cannot then speak on what they mean by that. That's disingenuous and dismissive. I'm telling you what they mean because I'm one of them niggas that would say that. So I'm telling I can speak on it. I have more right to speak on it than you do. So I'm speaking on it. I'm telling you that's what the fuck they mean. These women are less approachable than they were back in the day. That's what they mean.
You're right. And it's still cowards because it's not hard. Because it is not hard. They know it's not hard. The issue is all the fear that you was talking about is not the real fear that's really behind it. Because they weren't doing it way before all this Me Too stuff. They weren't doing it back then either. So it's not new for them. They just attack. When you're in this cowardice state, you make excuses for not doing the things that you know you're supposed to be doing anyways.
I don't want to get too hung up on this topic. So since we're talking about hashtag Me Too, I want to go ahead and use that to transition into the next social issue or event that shaped our society, and that is the impact of. Which one you want to go, Morphine? You want to go to?
We already went from.
We did BLM. We did Me Too.
We at LGBT now because we did Black Lives. We did Black Lives, and we just moving off of Me Too. So.
All right. So the LGBT movement that started in 2004 to the present day. We want to talk about its effects and how it has completely changed our society that we live in right now. So
I don't think it started in 2004, but I get what you're saying.
Well, I looked it up, and that's when it became a big deal.
Conglomerate. Okay.
So
okay.
Let me.
It hit mainstream 2004. Okay.
Right. Let me share my screen and play this clip. This clip is talking about the effects that it has had on society. You know what I mean? So these are a group of heterosexual men talking about how the movement has affected them.
This is another thing I want to address too, because it seems like there's a lot of homophobic rhetoric that goes on with Black women, and nobody in the LGBT ever holds Black women accountable. We don't have women on the show say, "Oh, because black women and LGBT, we have this alliance or whatever the case is. But a lot of the rhetoric that black women say towards black men is very homophobic, and nobody calls them out for that. So you could openly just say, well, y'all gay, this, that, and the third, even though they not gay. And y'all swear every black man is secretly gay, which is not a fact. There's no data to prove that. Just because a man doesn't automatically see you and want to spend money on you, then, oh, he must be gay.
All right. Right out the gate.
Yeah, I think homophobic's the wrong word. I just think like it's another shame tactic that women tend to use.
I was about to say that. I'm like, I don't think that's homophobia. I think that's a shame tactic to use to trigger you because you might be homophobic.
Well, it's both. It's both. But she used the statement in itself was homophobic.
Okay.
Because homophobic people, you know, that's I don't like that name because I'm not scared of no faggots, but homophobic people will often insult gay people, use "you're gay" and shit like that. That's a So whether that woman is truly homophobic or not, she used the statement, which is a homophobic statement, in a homophobic manner to try to shame this guy who she knew wasn't gay. Yeah. I think it could work.
Gay.
Oh God, who is that?
What's going on? G at me, get at me, gang. Welcome to the panel.
What it do?
All right. We're just talking about social issues that have changed our society that we live in the last 20 years. We've already covered Black Lives Matter. We already covered hashtag Me Too movement. We're just now getting to the LGBT movement and how it has changed the society and how we interact now with individuals because of the movement. I want to play these two political clips. I have one from Kamala and I have one from Trump. So if you guys will bear with me, who you want to flip a coin? Who you want to hear?
I want to hear Kamala first, and then we're gonna do Trump. Let's go.
That's how we do it, ladies first.
Yes, let's get it.
Two minutes, 30 seconds.
The very existence of the LGBTQ plus people are under assault.
Where does Kamala Harris rights? In 2004, while serving as district attorney in San Francisco, Harris conducted marriages for same-sex couples after it was legalized in the city.
I'll never forget pulling up to see all the families of every configuration and just pure joy, pure happiness. It was such a special moment, and it was all about love.
In 2010, Harris became Attorney General in California and played a key role in restoring marriage equality by campaigning heavily against Proposition 8.
My opponent said he would defend Prop 8, which would have banned same-sex marriage, and I said I would not defend it. And I got a call. The plaintiffs have asked that you would be the person to perform their marriage. And I was like, are you kidding me? Of course.
By virtue of the power and authority vested in me by the state of California, I now declare you spouses for life.
She also successfully advocated for the gay and transgender panic defense to be outlawed in California, a legal strategy used to claim that a perpetrator was panicked into committing a violent crime due to an unwanted advance from a gay or trans person. Since becoming vice president in the Biden-Harris administration in 2020, Kamala has continued to be a vocal advocate for LGBTQ+ rights.
In states across our nation, extremists, so-called leaders,
Pause.
fan claims of hate.
You gotta pause that. It's too long.
But there ain't no music playing in the background.
Still.
This is a TikTok. But no, something she said did stand out to me. I almost want to rewind it back because I was like, wait, was there a law that was passed that if somebody hit on you and you took offense? You know what I mean? I was confused.
Yeah, I never heard.
You know where that minute mark is at?
It was called a panic law.
Right.
When it makes you panic and flip out, like, yeah, because that's what she said. It was a law passed that did protect people in those situations, but she got it done away with.
Okay. All right, so let's get this last last 60 seconds out the way.
for political gain. We stand for the right of all people to live free from discrimination.
In December 2022, the pair passed the Respect for Marriage Act, which protects the marriage rights of same-sex and interracial couples in federal law.
For millions of LGBTQI+ Americans and interracial couples, this is a victory, and it is part of a larger fight.
The Biden-Harris administration has also tried to expand Title IX's anti-discrimination laws. This includes explicit protections for LGBTQ+ students in federally funded schools. Notably absent, however, is any mention of the bans on transgender athletes. On Sunday, 21st July, after announcing that he is standing down as the Democrat nominee in the upcoming election, President Biden publicly endorsed Kamala Harris. Several human rights groups and celebrities have voiced their support for the VP, including Charlie XCX, who posted on X that Kamala is brat. The new presidential candidate for the Democrat Party will be chosen at the Democratic National Convention.
All right, that's we don't even need none of that no more. How we feel about that before we move on to Trump?
I don't like the fact they like to mix in LGBT with black discrimination issue.
Interracial couples.
Yeah, like it's the same thing. It's not,
because it all falls under the Civil Rights Act. I had mentioned that earlier in the show.
I was about to say that.
We covered BLM. It's like, the BLM kind of helped. Well, I won't say help, but we noticed an amalgamation of the movements. You start seeing Trans Lives Matter shirts and stuff like that. Black Trans Lives Matter. So it was like an amalgamation of the movements that happened.
it happens with everything. There's that Compton shirt that everybody co-ops. There's that the Black Lives Matter thing that people co-op. There's orange is the new black. They tend to co-opt the black movement and structure for other social and cultural movements.
Yep, I agree.
I have a question. Okay, so so this is my experience. Well, I have a question too, but it's for Morphine and you, both of you all. So, Tim, I know you married. Morphine, let's just say you married, and your husband is a certain type of person. And every night before y'all go to bed, y'all have conversations about life and issues and things you're going to do the following day. He's giving you tasks to take care of the following day. And then the next day comes. Are you going to follow up on those tasks that you and your husband discuss?
Yes.
Okay. So I asked you that, and Tumultuous, I assume that, like myself and you, we have conversations with our spouses and we have things that we need to accomplish and we expect them to follow it. So I think people don't understand this. One, she's married to a white JEWS. So she's going to say whatever, but she's going to follow his plan. She's going to follow his plan. His plan is what it is. His plan is what it is. It's not going to change.
I said I never thought about that power dynamic of him being the head of the household.
I saw somebody else say that too. So this isn't the first time I heard it.
Yeah, and that's what it is, because in our communities we talk about the man being the leader in the head. Well, he is the leader in the head. She married a baby daddy with no problems. She's following everything under his authority.
And she has no children, and he did.
Exactly.
Right.
And he has two.
Word?
We can't.
Those are his kids, not hers. What?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Yeah,
Those are his following this thing like that. I don't like her, so why would I? Okay.
There was a pic that went
I know those are his children, and she raised them.
I'm like, word?
Yeah.
Hey, look at the kids look like Blanket in Paris, and Blanket has nothing to do with Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but see, I say that.
That's crazy.
But I say that, and I ask that because the gender that's being pushed is going to actually perpetuate men and women of color to go with the opposite sex. Meaning, the question they ask, are you born like that or are you manipulated to be like that? All of this agenda says is they're going to manipulate the youngest and the most vulnerable of us to live that lifestyle. What happens when they do that? Marriage rates go down, reproduction rates go down. But people are championing this like that's the way of the future. That shit right there will destroy everything about our nation of people. Everything. All the men that's supposed to be strong, they're gonna be 6 foot wearing dresses with high heel shoes.
That is an
It's
interesting.
gonna be sad. So
We're gonna have to have a conspiracy theory. So I think that might need to be next week. We need to just hit a conspiracy theory. Just lay them all on the line, because this goes to what I was talking to Miss Fields about. Was it earlier today? Or it was about maybe yesterday about
Yeah, no, it was earlier today.
about population control.
Yes.
Right. All right, and anyone that has anything else to say before I put on Trump?
No.
No, I'm waiting for Trump. Let's go. He entertaining.
Okay.
The left-wing gender insanity being pushed on our children is an act of child abuse.
What will happen to trans rights if Donald Trump wins the presidential election? The former president's re-election website features a section called Agenda 47, which has dozens of videos outlining his policies for if he returns to office. In one video, titled President Trump's Plan to Protect Children from Left-Wing Gender Insanity, Trump makes clear his plans for trans rights.
On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly.
Trump also pledges to sign a new executive order to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age. For any hospital or healthcare provider delivering gender-affirming care to trans youth, Trump will make sure they no longer meet the federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare.
Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children.
Copyright.
So we're just gonna be quiet.
Copyright. No, I'm just
You know, we gotta pause for a second.
Sound
Y'all
like
want-
Trump the nigga. Sound like Trump the nigga to me.
You making
I have a question.
When it comes to children, that is the only, because as far as the whole movement goes, people are free to identify as who they want, have sleep with who they want, be who they want. But when it comes to children, that's where I draw the line. Children should not be encouraged in schools, in that public schools, this type of stuff. They're supposed to go to public school to learn ABC 1, 2, 3.
I got a question. He said that it's something he said that stood out to me. I'm gonna come on camera for this because it's past my feeding time and we're on 2 different time zones. I'm sorry about that. So he said something that stood out to me, and it was something about mutilation. If I'm not mistaken, a lot of them conservatives think circumcision is mutilation. So is that going to fall under that category? It raised my eyebrow. Like, hold on, wait a minute.
There's a difference between
circumcision and castration.
Yeah, right. They might both start with a C, but yeah.
I get it. I get what you're saying, but
like
there are movements.
Not even just castration.
I get what you're saying, but there are movements that think that is mutilation. So I'm asking a question.
Because I live in California, and in California, a big reason why a lot of parents have taken their children off of their health insurance is because in California, if your child is 12 years old, they have the right to have confidentiality of their health care, even if you're the parent paying for it. So that means you're the one paying for you put your kids on your insurance at work, right? Boom. Your 12-year-old daughter could become pregnant. You do not know she's pregnant. She can go down to the clinic with her. No, not even the clinic. She can go down to whatever provider you have on your health care, through your job.
Damn, in the mic, morphine.
Yeah. She can go whatever
My mic is muted, sir.
whatever you signed up for, whether it's Kaiser, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, whatever. She can go to that provider at 12 years old, receive a termination of pregnancy, and you will never know until you see that charge on your services. And if you call and say, hey, what's this? Oh, your daughter came and got something done. Well, what does she get done? I don't have the right. That is patient doctor confidentiality. I can't tell you what your 12-year-old daughter had done in this hospital that you pay for her health insurance.
Well,
And
it's
that's
14, but
no,
yeah.
I'm talking about California.
It's 12.
California is 12.
And
Yeah, every
Pennsylvania is 14. I don't
every state is different.
I'm not against that law though. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not.
Yeah,
You're not?
No,
Trump slammed it for me.
I have a problem.
Sounds solid to me too.
I have a problem if I'm paying for my child's medical insurance and my child is absolutely under the law a minor. And as a minor, the law says that minors cannot make decisions for themselves without the consent or knowing of a parent or guardian. But yet, when it comes to this, it supersedes it.
Well, I'd like to give an example if that's okay. For those that don't know, my husband is a teacher. And so, for example, if a student, let's say his name is Keith, right? But he goes by Kimberly. If he calls him Keith on accident, right? For one, if the kid wants to make a big fuss about it, he can go to the office and say he didn't call me by my correct name, or he misgendered me, or whatever.
Dead name.
But also on top of that, like, let's say, and he's told me this. He says, he had one student. I don't remember the name, so we'll stick with Keith and Kimberly. And it was like, well, when you call my mom, make sure you say Keith. But when you're in the classroom, you call me Kimberly.
Yeah.
And he has to do it, because if he doesn't, he is liable to get in trouble.
Yep.
That happens.
And these parents don't know. And that's why the children are telling the teacher, well, when you call my parents, you better say Keith and not Kimberly, because the parents don't know.
That happened out here in a city called Harupa Valley. There was a female teacher that contacted the parents and told the parents, I'm not sure you're aware, but your student comes to school dressed a certain way, goes into the restroom at the beginning of school, changes, and then presents a different way. That teacher was fired.
Yeah.
Yep.
That teacher was fired for letting a parent know the behaviors of their child. That is wild to me. That is wild.
But
that's
horrible because there is no law about the teacher-student confidentiality like the doctor shit.
Right,
the doctor shit I can kind of understand. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. It should, if they're a minor, they should have to alert the parents of anything. But here's the problem I have with it. But on that one, hold on. But on that one, that's the school. There is no law saying that the teacher has any confidentiality, anything with the student. There's too many kids getting essayed and everything else. Why the fuck is there any confidentiality between the teacher and my student?
Right, I agree with Nia.
Well, that's because there may not be a law like in concrete or written, but it's a law, like, because they know that if they go against the grain, they're going to lose their jobs. We had a guy here in Virginia, not my part of Virginia, but a teacher. He just won a 575 million, not million, I think it was just 1,000, but still 575,000 lawsuit because they fired him because he refused to call students by the pronouns that wasn't assigned to their gender, and he stated it is because of my religious belief. And when you look into his background, like he's like a Catholic, been that way all his life, and that type of dude, right? So I believe that it's because of his religion, not because he just don't like you, but my religion says that you are a female and you are a male. But he got fired for that.
But that's the difference between Christians and Catholics. Catholics have a sick way in a sense, and Christians, they just feel like they can do whatever. Now, the problem is this, what I've seen working in education. Ninjas just don't show up for shit. They send memos out that follow it that year before. They put it on the school website. A lot of ninjas don't even know the password to the student portal. A lot of ninjas just talk shit from my experience. They put all of this information on the school portal saying this is what's going to happen. And ninjas don't show up. They complain after the fact. If you're not engaged, and I'm not saying nobody here, I'm speaking to other people outside of this space here. Ninjas don't even get involved with the children's life once they reach a certain age. They don't go to the school. They don't ask questions. They don't go in their fucking kids' room and shit, rooms stinking and shit. They leave these kids to figure that shit out. Then they act surprised. I don't know why he like that. But you let your brother dig in his booty all his life as a kid. You just left him over people's houses and a lot of this shit is perpetuated. It was considered a mental illness until the late 60s.
Okay.
But when they started bringing out this birth control and all this single part, man, a lot of this shit can be wiped out if people stand together. Other than that, the ninjas are gonna suffer all day long.
So let me pull up I got the law pulled up. So the law that protects students against sexual identity in high schools in the United States is primarily covered under Title 9 of the Education Amendment of 1972. Title 9 prohibits sex-based discrimination in any school or educational program that receives federal funding. Over time, this protection has been interpreted to extend to gender identity and sexual orientation. In recent years, the United States Department of Education and the courts have expanded these interpretations to protect LGBTQ students from discrimination based on their sexual orientation and gender identity. Some states also have added additional laws that explicitly protect LGBTQ plus students in schools, such as California's School Success and Opportunity Act, which specifically addresses the rights of transgender students in public schools. So yes. There is law that does it.
Yeah. Timotheus, really quick. The Title 9.
That law didn't say nothing about, prohibiting them from speaking with the parents, although I'm assuming that act that you read may have something about it in there. But that's the part. Like, I can see the way the teacher did it. Like, do you know your teacher is a drag queen? Yeah. Okay, I can see that. But if I call your house and I say, okay, Casey or Keisha, whatever the fuck the kid's name was, and you like, who is that? That's what your kid goes by. I should not be fired for calling them the name that I have to call. If I have to call them this, you can't say, well, you got to call them this. But if you call the house, you got to call them this. Like, that's weird. Which one do I got to call this little motherfucker?
Look, Neil, hold on, Neil. I can tell you, my husband showed me his roll book one time because he wanted to point it out to me. And before, all of this blew up, you would just see names. Now, not only do you see the names, but they have parentheses and the pronouns or a different name. They actually put that in the roll.
Yeah, I get it. I get it, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know the legality of it. Like, could that teacher sue the school board because, you shouldn't have, like, I don't know.
But
I can't tell somebody to
I
call
mean,
me Neo, but when you
he,
see me in person, I'ma sue you if you call me Neo.
I
It would
mean,
have
he
to be
could, you
litigated
know,
all
I
the way
mean,
up to the Supreme Courts and stuff.
I'm just
but
saying
again,
he could, but that just doesn't. Remember, you know the famous line: "You're free to do what you want, but you're not free from the consequences." So yeah, he could do what he
Yeah,
wants to do,
no,
but
no.
he's not going to be free from the
I'm
consequences.
just saying people could fight. Kind of what he's saying. People show up after the fact. This is the shit. The time people should be fighting it. Don't just go and go with it, because the longer you go with it, the harder it's gonna be to fight later.
Yeah.
Right. So let me get this last 60 seconds of Trump out the way.
Can I read this one thing right quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah, there was this law that came out back in 2020, I remember. And I didn't realize until it's actually an update to something that was already ridiculous that was going on in California. But let me read it right quick. It says, in September, a new law signed by California Governor Gavin Newsom amends a former law by giving judges discretion on listing an individual as a sex offender if they have consensual anal or oral sex with a minor age 14 or older. This type of judicial discretion is already granted in statutory rape cases involving a man who has vaginal sexual intercourse with a minor. However, it didn't include circumstances in where an adult engaged in consensual oral or anal sex with a minor. Just so y'all know what's going on.
I'm trying to understand how did that even pass? But because in California, the legal age of consent is 18. So how that whole law is a contradiction to the legal age of consent.
So is it pretty much saying that like it's illegal if it's between a heterosexual, not couple, but two heterosexuals, but it's okay if it's
Basically what it
is that
overthrow old 100-year-old sodomy laws. Sodomy was a crime. So it's overwriting sodomy line.
Oh.
No, but I mean
What I miss? I had to step away. What I miss?
Yeah, what you got to be careful not to overlook is that sex with a 14-year-old girl or boy, as long as you're a man, if a man has sex with a 14-year-old girl or boy, it's left up to discretion from the judge on whether or not it was actually rape.
so listen to that whole verbiage, right? What it's basically saying is, you ugly ninjas that have sex with a minor, you will go to jail. But these ugly ass white men that have sex with a minor, we're gonna pat them on their back, tell them not do it again. That's all it is.
Yep.
The law is going to be manipulated based on the color of your skin, point blank. But again, as a man, you don't put yourself in that situation with a minor. If it ain't your slow ass kid, you make sure you have another adult of the same sex of that kid in the room with you when you speaking to them. You don't go into no room, no office, no bathroom without and if you do have to go to the bathroom, you leave the door open to the outside. You don't shut no doors. I'm sorry.
Yeah, your sound is choppy, but I just want to get this
I'm sorry.
last 45 seconds out the way.
Education, President Trump will introduce severe consequences for any teacher or school that suggests a child could be experiencing gender dysphoria.
We will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique.
Finally, if Trump wins the presidential election in November, he will ask Congress to pass 3 bills that establish that. 1. The only genders recognized by the U.S. government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. 2. Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports. In other words, banning all trans women from competing. 3. Parents must give consent in order for their child to change their gender identity.
No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today. It was all when the radical left invented it just a few years ago. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much.
They said base.
Thank you very
I don't
much.
disagree with that though. I would
Under
say
my
that.
leadership,
Well,
this
some of
madness
it.
will end. Thank you very much. I feel like he lying. Like don't get me wrong, but like as a Christian, if you're going off what these people saying, he's saying the Christian thing. He's saying
No,
what?
he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he
Trump,
is.
Trump,
He's doing something about it.
the Christian voice is saying.
What
I'm
he's
sorry.
saying?
Kamala
What
was supporting the LGBTQ. Trump was against it. I've heard both of the videos. I see what Kamala's stance is on it. She's supporting this shit and supporting all this craziness. Trump
Can I
is saying
point
it's gonna
something?
stop.
Can I point
But
something
here,
out? Before anybody says,
go ahead.
Trump is pulling on a trigger for America, and Camilla is pulling on a trigger for America, but it's two different
Right.
spectrums. Trump is pulling on the kids, and Camilla is pulling on the adults. So I don't think you can say, "Oh, she's for, kids getting fucking mutilated at 14, 15, wanting to cut their
No,
little
that's
titties
not what
off."
I'm saying.
I don't.
That's not what
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Well,
that's not what
no,
I'm saying. I'm
but
saying
her laws
her laws were pro
would allow it.
LGBTQ, and it's
Exactly. She
probably
was
gonna
giving
allow
more.
it. But I'm not
There's
trying to say.
isn't there?
I'm not. What I'm saying is I'm not trying to say that she's pro kids getting all this shit done. I'm not saying she's against it, but her laws are not going to stop it. She's
Right.
promoting. She's trying to help the LGBT community. Trump is trying to slow their fucking progress down because they're doing too much. That's what I'm hearing from both of them.
But
Now,
you
is
have
Trump
to.
gonna
I was
actually?
gonna say,
Is Trump gonna actually go through with what he's saying? Probably not.
but here's the thing: if you listen to him, he didn't say adult people can't do what they want to do. He's focused on kids.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's
saying.
all he
Like
ever
he's
said.
focused on
Youth,
children.
kids,
But
children. Like once you
but
get old enough and you can do whatever you want to do, hey, that's on you. But just make sure you pay for it your damn
Right.
self, because I don't want to pay for it, and the taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for it. But at the same
That's
time,
what
we
he
shouldn't
said.
be indoctrinating our children in that. I mean, I've made
but
this example many times before. Monica wants to be a mermaid, like a real life mermaid, right? Am I supposed to go chop her legs off and get her a fin and put her in the water because she thinks she's a mermaid? No, she's 4. And you have a lot of people who are following that line of thinking, which can also be included in the Me Too, because Me Too. My kid's transgender too. Yeah, my kid's 18 months and she's a girl, but I took her shopping, but she wanted a dump truck. She didn't want the Barbie, so she must be transgender.
See the
So you have a lot of nuances that goes along with that, and that's what he's trying to stop.
the
Not
language
adults living their lives.
the
Right.
language that you're using is where is, in my opinion, is key, because by calling it gender affirming surgery, gender affirming treatment, you're not calling it what it is, and that's plastic surgery. Plastic, where anywhere is plastic surgery paid for by taxpayer money? Where can someone say, I have low self-esteem, I'm a size A cup, I get picked on my I need bigger boobs so I can fill out, and the
I
government
need
pays.
that. I
Tim,
need that reform
That
right
doesn't make
now. I would like
no,
that
you
reform.
don't.
Tim,
No, you don't. No, you don't. No,
Tim,
you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't.
hold
There
on.
is no government program that allows people to get plastic surgery. If you
Okay,
want
but Tim,
plastic surgery, which is an elective surgery, you have to pay for it yourself. So
Tim,
then,
real quick, because I know that you're quick with your fingertips there on your computer. Isn't there an inmate right now that Kamala? Well, I'll just say this administration. I'm not gonna point fingers, but he's about to get a transition to a female. He's in prison, and guess who's gonna pay for it? Taxpayer dollars are gonna pay for it. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna say she, because I don't want to be wrong. She pretty much signed off on it and put her stamp of approval on it. Now this man is in prison saying that if he doesn't get that gender affirming care, that like he might die. So now the state has forced them to give this person a gender reassignment, and it's going to be done obviously under taxpayer dollars because he's in jail.
Well, a percentage of taxpayer dollars, and the rest is corporation. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, there's an underlying problem here altogether,
There's that.
especially when you're dealing with the medical industry in general, because at some point we switch from trying to make humans or bring humans back to homeostasis or a normal state of being, we're trying to alter them to an alternative state altogether, which is it's something that switched in our meta. And then when trying to switch them to that alternative state, we're calling that's their normal state,
All right.
rather than trying to get them back. Because the only reason you went to the doctor is because if something was wrong, right? There's nothing wrong with these people, or what is wrong is not what they're fixing.
Okay. So the inmate who will be allowed to undergo gender affirming surgery is Autumn. I can't say the last name. Cordelion. She has been incarcerated since 2002 and is diagnosed with gender dysphoria in 2020. A federal judge has ruled that the Indiana Department of Corrections must provide gender affirming surgery despite a 2023 state law banning such procedures for incarcerated individuals. The court found that denying this care likely violated the 8th Amendment, providing cruel and unusual punishment, and the 14th Amendment due to sex discrimination. Cordelion had a history of unalive attempts and tried self-surgery, reinforcing the court's conclusion that this surgery is necessary for her well-being. This ruling applies specifically to her case and does not overturn the broader state law.
Can somebody say mental illness, please? Can somebody say mental illness?
Can I say something?
Welcome to the panel. Who hurt you?
Yeah, Trump for president. That's all I want to say.
You know, it's like it's a thing that with this whole topic that a lot of people that overlook is that you will not be able to change the chromosomes, like the DNA that you're born with, even with the surgery. Like you're still gonna be either XX or XY, no matter what they do. So it's like me personally, I call them what they are. I don't really care. Like sue me, do whatever you're gonna do to me, but you are what you are.
Right. I recently watched a live that had a big following, and it was a transgender individual speaking with the host, and the transgender woman was asserting that she was the same as the cisgender host. So I have to say that the terms that they use, the cisgender host, and basically the host broke it down to what your point is, Percy. The host basically said the difference between you and I, because even though you've had your organ removed and you have a female organ put in place, DNA mapping requires you to put a prosthetic organ in you at night while you sleep, because your DNA mapping does the same thing for that hole down there that it does for the holes in your earrings. Your body says this hole is not natural. This hole is not supposed to be there.
That wound.
Right. I am going to seal this up to protect the body from infection. And a cisgender woman does not have to sleep with a dildo inside of her at night to keep her organ open and keep it from closing like an earring hole.
No, but they do use Benoit balls and other things for other reasons.
All right, but I don't want to get caught up on this too much.
But that is crazy, because that's a great point right there. That's a great point.
Right. So I want to move on to the last topic that covers what we're doing right now: the impact of social media on our society. And this topic actually encompasses everything we mentioned before: hashtag BLM, hashtag Me Too, hashtag trans rights, hashtag all of that falls into this. But I want to bring it in with what my homeboy been having issues with in the social media space. He's been having issues with dating because he's a 43-year-old man that's divorced and trying to get back in the dating field, and he has to deal with these apps, and he's saying these apps are absolutely horrendous. So I want to play a clip that speaks on these apps real quick. It's 40 seconds long.
that show that women get attention on dating apps and men
Volume.
and or a very small percentage of men get all the attention. And
I can't hear it.
just that the operational
We can't hear
on
it,
these apps
Tim.
is extremely skewed.
It's really,
Imagine
really
you go to a
low.
party and it's almost entirely men, right?
Let me see. Maybe everybody mute, and that might help. Mute myself as well.
I mean, you can see these really dramatic data sets that seem to show that women get tons of attention on dating apps and men get none at all.
Okay.
And or a very small percentage of men get all the attention. And part of this is just that the operational sex ratio on these apps is extremely skewed. Imagine you go to a party and it's almost entirely men, right? At that party,
Yep.
most men will not get any attention from women.
Right.
That's just a natural consequence.
Right.
These dating apps are often upwards of 70% male.
All
Thir-
right.
Thirsty dudes out there, man. That's all it is.
All right. So
I wouldn't say thirsty. I would say that's just how the algorithm is. Even the birth rate for a long time, there was more men. I mean, there was more women than men. But in these situations, right? Say you're in a club, the women getting free. That's so there more women could come, and the ratio could be more women to men. However, you're still going to have that same dynamic where women is going to feel like, well, a lot of men aren't talking to us because, you know, they're a small group versus the mass. So I don't know. Like, would you guys even go to a place where it's predominantly women?
If I may, if I'm looking, catting, whether I'm wanting a one night stand or looking for a woman or a date or whatever, yeah, I would, because my chances of meeting somebody are high. I wouldn't go if it's like, you know, if it's a couples thing, you know what I mean? People paired up, or if it's, you know, like the man said, if it's more men than women, I probably might not want to go. That's just too much chasing. You know,
It all comes
I
down
want to
to
go with
like why you going. If you're going out specifically to date, meet women, then you want more women than men in the area.
So
Right,
another
that's what
thing
I'm
is
saying.
I don't have the clip, but me and someone in the back chat was talking about it earlier, a few days ago. I think it was Miss Ash, but how men are not showing up to these single events that are being hosted, and basically what I was telling her is like, why would men pay money to go to a rejection party?
Yeah. I mean, something like
It's a
that.
rejection party regardless on both sides, depending on who outnumber whom. You do
But
know that,
here's
right?
the thing. But again, listen,
They're
I don't.
charging everybody.
This is where I think men don't understand their value. Men have to do a better. They have to start understanding their value, because, like he said, why would I go somewhere and pay to meet women when I can just wait to the happy hour Friday and Saturday night? They all go roll up in the same little club. Why would I do that? It makes no sense.
Because
You
you
know what
got
I'm
to
saying?
pay to go to both of these places. So do
But I'd
she.
rather go where I can get tipsy, where I know you're gonna get, you know what I'm saying, and it levels the playing field. See, in that space like that, you're gonna be under the microscope. And if one woman rejects you, guess what? Women are sort of slow like that when it comes to men. All of them will reject you. It'll just be a snowball effect.
Yeah.
So why even put yourself in that situation?
Women
would
got to
even
go
feel
through the
like
same thing. It's instead that y'all not as selective as if the so-called, I'm gonna just throw this out there. If the so-called righteous fair manosphere came in a singles dating group, they would probably have the same fucking mannerisms. All I'm saying is that if you outnumber a group of people, 9 times out of 10, you're going to deal with rejection. Same thing with women. If the men outnumber them, a lot of them are going to have to deal with rejection. You see it in the dating shows all the time. So
I got a question, and I'm really trying to figure it out. So it's a legit question, like not trying to be funny. So he was saying that like over half of the people on the dating, I've never been on a dating app. So over half of the people on a dating app are men. But then like, so it makes me kind of question like, because at first I was thinking, well, maybe men just prefer to meet women on a whim. Like, okay, I saw her at the grocery store, or I saw her at my cousin's barbecue, and we meet and we chop it up. But at the same time, they're still also going on the apps, and they're the higher percentage on the apps. Does that make sense?
It's supposed to be.
It's
it's
more
not.
women. It's more women on apps than men, and I'll say it for
You're on
myself.
mute.
Oh,
Yeah,
Not
Timmy,
you.
I
No,
mean,
not you,
but I don't
Coach.
think that's true. There's definitely more men on these apps than
it's
women.
more women naturally than men. The thing, and listen, I was on dating apps before I got married, and let me tell you something. I was probably a 95% success rate. It wasn't that difficult at all.
Stay
I was
humble.
probably
Stay humble, Ferg. Stay
no.
humble.
I'm just saying though,
Like,
because
like, no, it's not that hard. I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all just doing it
Nah,
wrong.
leave that man alone.
that hard, man.
Leave my light-skinned brother alone.
Hey, and it's
My
not.
man just go on there,
That's
lick
how
his
he
lip,
acted
and
too.
it's
But
a wrap.
again,
Though. It's a wrap.
Like speaking on my friend, because I just texted him and tried to get him to come on the panel so I don't speak for him. But he basically was saying, he's very successful. He has 4 college degrees, 2 bachelor's degrees, 2 master's degrees. He owns a business. He's very successful. And what he comes across, and he said, this is just how it feels. Is when he on there, talking to somebody, whatever, it'll go dry, it'll go cold. And it's because these sites create an environment to where everyone's just waiting on the next person that's better. It's like the grass is all, if I got this dude, got 4 degrees and he got a business, I got him interested in me, then I can attract the next level up. So you know what I mean? That's
Kind of like the husband store.
No, it's 2 words.
That exact joke. Yeah,
Yes,
There's 2 words that y'all missing. It's hypergamy and pre-selection. Like this is a phenomenon that exists in our sexual dynamics amongst women, and that's phenomenon. Yes, that exists amongst our women. That's hypergamy, where it's especially if it's this short-term dating strategy, right? Because it's that guy is only going to be around for so long, right? Because that's your assumption. You only look for that short term, and if I can get this guy, then there's probably somebody better. And then going back to your whole husband store thing, we're not looking for husbands now. They're just looking for that short term satisfaction or whatever, to get off whatever they need to get off for that night.
You know what I never liked about that definition?
Which
Is
one?
that it insinuates instant gratification is hypergamy. But it's just instant gratification. It's
No,
like
no,
trying
no,
to
no,
give
no.
other decorated ass words
No.
to something so simple.
There's hypergamy, but it's exacerbated by instant gratification.
Is it?
But again, I said it earlier. Some of us have to admit that we just ugly as hell.
Come on, bro.
When I was on a dating site,
It's okay, Maurice. You can do it.
Oh, come on,
but what I'm saying is,
Don't do that to me.
I'm not picking at anybody here. But what I'm saying is, when I was on a dating site,
I get what he's saying.
once they saw you, first of all, you put your picture up there, right? So you can see the picture, right? You're gonna read. I didn't even read bios. I just went by looks because I need to talk to you. I need to hear what you're talking like. And once you start talking, you can iron all of that out. I never bought up sex.
Yo, coach.
Yes.
Coach, I just wanted to say real quick, you are absolutely right. Because I remember I had an ugly boyfriend too because he was funny as hell. He was funny as hell. He said the right things and made me laugh. He wasn't somebody that I would normally be attracted to, but he shot his shot. He played the friend. He was funny, and he knew he was ugly. Matter of fact, I call him blacker than under the bed. Still to this day.
And you didn't hurt his feelings. He probably
Nope,
laughed
not
right
one bit.
along with you. And that's the difference of the. Listen, man, you have to.
Hold on. I'm trying to figure out why we associating dark with ugly.
No, we're not. Again, I'm light
What's
skinned.
going on with these two light skinned people talking about how
I'm
dark
light
and
skinned
ugly
and ugly.
going
Hey
together?
man, they
What's going
throwing
on?
rocks at you, bro. They throwing rocks at you.
I'm feeling it. They're knocking me upside my head, bro.
No,
I'm with Maurice. I feel attacked.
Morphine, no, don't feel attacked. You just lucky I'm married. Just be lucky that I'm not, because then you wouldn't be attacked. Yeah, but
You
anyway.
always play some type of game, yo.
But what I'm saying
How you
is,
doing?
when I was there,
And I wasn't saying he was ugly because he was darker than under the bed.
That's what it sounded like. That was the
No,
name
no,
you gave him.
Maurice.
That's exactly
No,
what it sounded like. That's the
Maurice.
name you gave him when you described how ugly he was. You said, "I'm
Maurice,
ugly,
it's
dude."
okay. Maurice, I'm sorry. You accept my apology?
yes,
yeah,
I'm sorry, Maurice. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna use myself as an example. Not all women like light skinned dudes. Not all women like dudes with bald head. So out of those 10, 4 or 5 of them were gone. And again, once they saw you in person, all of those little, I guess, what is it called? Those what is it, that list they got? That shit would go out the window. I meet them on Wednesday, Friday, they doing whatever. Saturday, they doing whatever. I used to run one in, run one out. They come
Can I
over.
back that up a little? Can I build on that a little?
I'm
I've never been
just
on what I haven't been on dating sites for the same intentions that other people may have been. But this is what I will say. I know that I am not the 10 of all fucking 10s because I seen the 10 and even I was attracted to it. So, I know that that's not me. However, as an average looking person, I definitely done talked my way in a lot of dudes' inboxes or interests because they just like what the hell I said.
That's not the same thing, man. Like,
Why
dude,
isn't it? Y'all dudes do it all the time.
listen.
All I did was take your book and
No,
apply
hold on.
it to a man.
No, hold on. Let me fix one premise.
Okay, Morphine.
Men in groups be putting up the craziest of pictures and be like smash or pass. And the amount of smashes that come up from these crazy, there was this, I don't know if there was a picture of this zombie chick, but she had a fat ass. It wasn't even like a real AI. It was like a zombie chick. And they put up smash or pass. The amount of smashes that came up, bro.
Yeah.
Like this. I'm not saying all men, but men in general, as a generality, have no lower limit of what they're willing to have sex with.
Maurice, first of
I
all,
ain't talking
you
about
missed the whole
sex. I said
concept.
interest, but I get what
No,
you're saying.
I'm
Maurice,
fixing the
you missed
premise
whole
based off
concept.
of what she said.
Maurice, listen, a man to have sex with a snake with a dress on if he could. However, if we could go, any woman we meet, I don't care if she has the face of a goddess, the body of a goddess. If we can go ass up, face down 100% of the time, guess what he gonna do? Ass up, face down all the time. It don't matter. She ain't got to have a 10 face. If she has that body, come on, man. He gonna put kids in her. She gonna have his babies.
Let's see what the Surgeon General has to say about. Oh, my bad, Percy. You want to say something?
I'm just saying, whoever you're talking about, they got a poor strategy. Like if they need some tips and some guidance, tell them to hit me up.
I can't with Percy.
All right, let's see what the Surgeon General has to say. This is a guy talking about the Surgeon General.
Yo, as much as I love social media, I think this got to stop. I mean, I don't think we're really realizing how much destruction the social media is doing. Not only on a personal, individual level, like where your mind is giving you ADHD, but on an intrapersonal level where we're engaging with each other. Like I see so many of these things about men and women and men supposed to be doing this, women supposed to be doing that, but we don't even realize what social media has done to all of us on the grand scheme. Let's take a look real quick. So the Surgeon General said the threat that social media poses to children requires urgent action. And he demanded Congress to put a label on the apps as it does with cigarettes and alcohol. The mental health crisis among young people is an emergency, and social media has emerged as an important contributor, Murthy said in the New York Times on Monday. Murthy cited several studies, including a 2019 American Medical Association study published in JAMA that showed teens who spend 3 hours a day on social media double their risk of depression. Teens spend nearly 5 hours a day on social media apps, according to a Gallup poll. Murthy said that the prevalence of social media use among kids is over 95%, quote unquote, nearly universal. But Murthy cannot unilaterally put a warning on apps. That requirement would have to come from Congress, with whom Murthy pleaded to pass a bill. Now, let me just break all of this down. Ben knew that social media caused depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, low self-worth. Let me show you a video from 2019. Let me show you a video from 2019 that I did about social media. 5 ways that social media is ruining your life. Number one, the first thing that social media is doing to ruin your life is it makes us create comparisons. When you compare your life to the lives of others. That's number one. Number two, social media seems like it's a subtle process, but it's slowly making people more insecure. Third way that social media is ruining your life is that it's putting everybody in your business. It's making your business too available for everybody. When people post their business, where I'm at, their location, who they with, what time they get off work, what time they started work, where they work, how many kids they got, where their kids go to school. When you post your private information, you're putting all of these things on the net. The fourth problem, there is a distortion of time. When you're on social media, you don't even realize how fast time goes by. And that amount of time you spend looking at something you could have spent writing, that workout that you didn't have time for, that you're so busy, and so you're on social media 3 hours a day at least, every day. You can go and take half of that time or a fraction or a quarter or whatever it is of that time to put it towards your goals, your desires, your dreams, something.
All right.
That was 100% true.
I agree, but to add as an addendum, parents need to parent, man. Parents need to parent. Like, asking the government or Congress or whoever, schools, to take care of your kids, you've already screwed up. You as a parent need to parent. So whenever you hear about these kids on social media, your teens on social media, like, if you know it's dangerous, just like like smoking or any type of drugs or sex education or all this other stuff that we have to talk about, this makes the list.
But the thing is that when it comes to cigarettes and alcohol, by it having those labels on it makes it that much easier to regulate. You can't buy certain things at a certain age. If they put these labels on these apps, not everyone can download.
Well, I was also gonna say, you guys can correct me if I'm mistaken. It's not just talking about kids; it's actually talking about adults too. Because we're on Facebook, we're scrolling, and he says, if you even took half of that 3 hours, like this, I ain't gonna lie, I'm guilty of it. There'll be sometimes I'll be out here in the back chat, Tim
No way.
Yes way. And then I'll be like, you know what, Tim? Matter of fact, what I do today? Around noon? I was like, let me get off this phone with you. I got some stuff to do. Let me go take care of my chores, right? Because we can get wrapped up into it. So it's not just about kids. I get what you're saying, Maurice, and you're completely correct.
No, remember,
but
I said
I don't want to zoom over the adults either, because it consumes our lives as well.
No, I mean, my statement was as an addendum, because I agree. It's an issue. Social media is an issue. It's something that all of us need to take inventory of and use our time more constructively towards things rather than being on social media. But in the same sense, like, whenever you start throwing kids in and the concepts of depression, anxiety, and all this other stuff, we can't neglect our responsibility not only to take care of ourselves, but also to take care of our children.
And I do agree, but I do want to, okay, as you say, your addendum. Some kids unfortunately are in that process. And guess what? Sometimes it's, how can I put it? I don't want to be wrong, not wrong per se, but I don't want to say it wrong.
Inaccurate.
You have some people who they allow the social media because maybe it's because they're not home. You see what I mean? Like you got the mom that's working 2 jobs. You know what I mean? So in a sense, like society and economics has made that a little difficult too, and it's so easily accessible. Whether you don't even need a phone. You can go on your Roku TV nowadays and type into YouTube and Google whatever it is you want to watch and see skits and things like that. So it's not just like the phones or the tablets, it's the TV. And again, there's some people, unfortunately, that I'm not saying that they don't have an option, but if they're not present due to certain circumstances, it's not really something that they can do much about.
I mean, based on the example you gave, it just seems like that house needs order. And you already know the person that's responsible for order in the household is the man.
But
So
everybody,
But
right now,
everybody doesn't have the man in the house, Maurice.
I know, but the reality to say that the government or these legislative bodies are the ones that are supposed to bring order in my household is a failed mindset.
but social media is doing exactly what it was set out to do: dummy down the ninjas. That's exactly what it's doing.
Right.
Who right now? And I'm not saying just people if they listening. How many of y'all have dinner nightly with your family at the dinner table, where there's no phones allowed? How many of y'all do?
That's what they do.
Not
Well, I
very
do.
many people do that.
I look, matter of fact,
I
Tim,
do
I
and
told
I
you I'd be
don't.
on.
I do
Remember,
and I don't. I'm
Tim, I
not gonna
said.
lie.
Remember, Tim, I said I hop on after dinner. We was all sitting there. We make that a nightly affair here.
But the thing is, listen,
I'm a
not
millennial. I'm
enough
not
of
gonna
us
lie.
do
I
it.
do and I don't. We're
Not enough of us do it.
share shit that we seen on social media at the dinner table.
Regularly. How many of us are having conversations about let's just say, okay, we out here, we in the huddle. This is what I call the huddle. We getting information, we sharing information. Timothy said something great. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna mark that. We'll write it down. But then how many of us go share that information with the ones who need it? Regardless of who said it, regardless of how they said it, it shit might even hurt my feelings. But that's some good information. And I'm sure my 12, 13-year-old son or daughter can use this information. How many of us are applying these things to the lives as needed? A lot of us dismiss that shit, and then we wondering why my baby's acting all funny. Because they're going through the change and we ain't paying attention to it. It's just unfortunate. But again, these are poor people issues. So somebody got to change. Somebody got to be the voice of reason if you want your life to change. Because I may be on the other side, but we have children, and the children need an opportunity to have the best possible life without all of the bigotry, without all of the perpetuous lifestyles that they're trying to force on young children. And they forcing it right down our throat. No diddy. And nobody's saying nothing till after the fact. We'll see it and we'll talk about it for weeks and weeks on the doorstep with our girls and guys on the phone. But when they say, listen, we're gonna have a meeting on next Thursday, 7:00, be there, be square, we ain't showing up. But so we get what they go put out there. Just
I don't know, like the way I teach my boys, they're an independent force. Like my boys got sent to the the principal's office for telling everybody that there's no Santa Claus. Like my boys go to the doctor's office and he was crying because they wouldn't give him a shot. The little brother got a shot, but he was crying because he wouldn't get a shot. The nurse was so confused, was like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna get you a sticker." He looked her dead straight in the eye and said, "I don't want a sticker. I wanted a shot." Like, there's a certain level of discipline that you put into your kids, a certain level of values that you instill inside them, so that even outside the house it extends. So nobody is going to override your authority that you've placed on your kids.
But Maurice,
Well, going to the social media aspect, Like I make sure my boys are in football, they're in basketball, they're hell, if they want to play soccer, they hunt. Matter of fact, hunting season coming. I know I got to go buy some stuff now. Anyhow, they go fish. The day after school they went fishing. We have a creek in our backyard that they fish at, that they feed the ducks the fish. I allow my kids social media, but I monitor it and I make sure that it's only a certain amount of time. In my neighborhood, my neighbors will say they have always said, you know, like your kids are the only kids I see outside, and I'm like, yeah, because I put them outside. Put the phone down. Put the Xbox controller down. Don't touch my remote control. Get your ass outside. Go play football. Go play basketball. Go hunt. Go. We even have a hunting stand in our backyard because we're on 3.5 acres, so they can actually hunt out here.
Miss
Yeah, they
Fields.
got room to play.
Miss Fields.
I'm in the city,
Yes,
so
sir.
we don't got those type of options. But I could say for my children, I have an adult child and I have a teenager, and I could say they never on social media. I don't know why they're not interested in it so much as outside of information. Like their thing is like the whatever in space, or they geeks. What can I say? Like I got nerds in my house. Like they don't really care about things like that.
Be happy.
And they're
Be happy.
definitely
You're blessed
on their
here.
tablets
You are
all
blessed.
the time, and they're creating things. Like one of my sons create animation, the other one is drawing on his tablet. That's all they do on it. Like they're everything electronic to them is a tool to be productive in something.
I don't know why you sound like you're complaining, man. You blessed.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, like I don't know what that feels like because my kids don't care about that.
That's awesome.
Be grateful you don't have that problem that
Miss
like
Fields, I do
90%
have a
of
question for you.
Americans are dealing with right now.
Yeah, I got geeks for kids, man. They nerds. I
Miss
like
Fields,
this.
so the
Like
question I have with the information you just shared about your children, do you believe that it makes it a lot easier having a father within their space on a daily basis?
Oh, no question.
Yeah, and see, that's the part I think a lot of people miss, because even in, you know, just how you speaking it, you know, you said my children, but that balance, having that father, even though let's just say he ain't even as active with it, but he's there, that brings everything to a balance. And now you can see how your children are a little bit more diverse, a little bit more willing to try different stuff outside of the norm, well behaved, do things within moderation. And I think for the most part, a lot of their young men and young women don't get that balance. And
Right.
that's where we falling apart in our community. It's just
I'll say this because I want to say, because anybody that know me know I brag on my baby. Look, he a better parent than me.
there you go. That's
I'm
what we
busy
do.
cooking. I'm busy cleaning and folding laundry. He outside playing football. He outside going to basketball. He outside hunting with him. He going to the store buying fishing stuff with him. He in the room playing Madden and talking junk with him and toughening them up a little bit. You know, those my boys. But those are his boys. He is a better parent than me. I'm mom. But my boys are also at the age where they need their father. I was mom up until like 6.
Exactly.
Now I'm just mom. Ma, what's for dinner? Ma, did you see my sweatpants? My favorite sweatpants.
See,
That's who I am now.
See, I don't like the
it.
word better. I don't like the word better. I don't. Like,
But no, you
It's
see,
hard,
hold on.
though.
You don't get to define what I think is better in my household.
I'm just
He
speaking
is
in
a
general.
better. He's not a better person. Hold on, let me clarify.
Okay.
He's not a better person than me. He is a better parent than me because my boys are 11 and 12, and they don't need the Band-Aid on the boo-boo no more.
Right.
They don't need the hugs and the kisses and the cuddles no more. They need dad.
Let me
But I
So
would-
now
offer a
dad is a
different
better
perspective.
parent.
No,
Now,
he
had you
just-
asked me this when they were 3, no, he was useless when he was 3. When they
No,
were 3.
that's not true.
Well, not useless,
That's
but
what I'm
I'm
saying.
joking. I'm
Yeah,
just
no, I-
saying he wasn't as useful as me because I'm the baby. You know, most men, especially from the older generations, like y'all didn't know what to do with a damn kid. Y'all will sit there and watch the
What?
game and have a beer
What you talking about
and
this
tap them
man?
up and down on your lap.
You talking about
And
the
as soon
old
as
ass boomers. You talking about the
yeah,
old
yeah, yeah,
boomers. That was my
yeah,
daddy. My dad didn't
like
know
the ones
what
that
to do.
won't change no diaper. They be like, hey, that ain't my job. I ain't changing no diaper. Here, mama, take the baby. It's got
Nah,
that this diaper change.
you speak with the generation that took paternity leave and stayed with their kids. So
But they
yeah,
kids were a lot stronger, a lot
but
smarter, a lot more go
let me
getter.
let me offer a different perspective. This is the reason why I'm pushing back against the word better. I think we underestimate the roles that both men and women play in these lives of these kids. Like the woman offers like a certain sense of self-esteem and this natural encouragement just for being who they are. Like that's such an important role that the mother plays, and it's often diminished. Where the father brings in a certain level of structure and correction, and a certain level of confidence in competence. That's what the father brings. But that's basically the father brings something heavy for this child to carry, and said you can carry it. The mother is there to say that there's nothing you can't do. The father is there to tell him, yeah, you're gonna have limitations, but I'm gonna push those limitations. Right? There's different roles, so it's not so much better. It's just sometimes we're trying to measure each other based off what each other does in their separate roles.
But my point was, okay, maybe I should have clarified a little better. So if I did not, forgive me.
No, I wouldn't say that.
At this point in time, with my boys being the age that they are, Billy is a better parent to my boys than I am, because I was mommy up until about 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah, but
After that, they needed. And matter of fact, their father is right here, Billy, right here, listening. At around 6 or 7, I saw a shift. They didn't need mommy as much anymore, which is
Salute.
okay. They still love me. They still
Salute,
respect
father.
me.
Salute to the father. Salute, Billy. Thank you, brother.
I
for
mean,
the balance.
Maurice might not understand, but I totally got it. I think Coach got it. Percy ain't objecting. Maurice a little, he always got to give a little pushback against
No,
something.
you know me, I'm all about accuracy.
But I will
and
agree
not-
that even
now-
in my situation, my youngest son had his father in his life. He still have his father in his life, and his mother and his father at the same time for 11 years of his life. So he was the more attentive parent, where I just was kissing the boo-boos, making things better. I was the nanny, I was the maid, I was the laundry woman. I was
You
that.
were
That's
no
what I
maid.
was.
You was not a maid.
I
Stop
was
it.
the maid.
You was
You
not
are
a maid. You was
I
a
don't-
mother.
I don't like
It's
You
these
was a
part of
mother.
the-
You was not a
It's
maid.
the
You was a mother.
Am I complaining about it? Am I
You was
complaining
not a
about it?
maid.
You don't have to
Stop
complain
it.
She's
about
not complaining about
I'm not
it, though.
complaining.
It's
That's
not a
what it
maid,
was.
though.
It served me to make sure my child had a nice, warm ass every day. That was
All
my
right, let me-
thing.
What
Like,
is that meaning? You
Let
were
me ask
not
King
a
Billy a
maid.
question. Let me
Coach
ask King
wanna
Billy.
ask
Let me
Billy a
hear.
question.
Let me ask King Billy a question. I'm gonna put you on the spot, Billy. Now, when you think about your wife, the one that birthed your kids, do you see her as a cook, a maid, a boo-boo kisser? Is that how you see her?
a nurse, yes.
No. I'm talking to Billy. Billy,
Nah, I don't see it as that.
you don't see any of that, right? You see your wife and the important role that she plays to make sure your kids are taken care of, right?
Right.
That's why when I hear all these
Hold on,
titles-
wait, no.
But the question is
because-
not about what he sees that's going to override what I feel or what role that I think
And
I
not-
play. He can see
Not
what he
only
wants
that,
to
if
see.
you hold on, Morphine, I got you. Morphine, Maurice. So what she is saying, okay, I'm the nurse. I gotta kiss the boo-boo. I gotta make sure if they're sick, I'm the one probably at home with the kid, taking care of the kid, still trying to cook dinner, still trying to clean, still trying to do the laundry. So if you hire somebody maybe that wasn't the right verbiage to use, but if you were to hire somebody to do those functions, you would call them a nanny or a maid.
My
Now
issue
he
is-
doesn't see me in that aspect because I'm the mother of his children. But if you think of the duties, if you had to hire somebody to do that, you would consider them a maid or a nanny, correct or
All
not?
right, let me ask Billy again. Billy, you
Okay.
on the spot. Now, if you was to get all those things, if you was to get check it, if you was to get a nurse, a cook, a maid, and all these roles that your wife plays, would your kids be just as nurtured as if they had a mother?
Would they be as nurtured?
Yes.
But if I had all those services?
Yeah, hold up. If you had all those services, hold up. If you had all those services and
Would
you still
something still be
providing the
missing?
interactions that you provide today.
Yeah, would something still be missing?
Yeah, their mom.
Exactly. Like
Hold up. Let's walk this down. Hold up. We gotta walk this down because
there's something
because,
innate.
hold on. We gotta walk this down,
Hold on,
Maurice.
let Coach walk it down.
Because Miss Fields actually laid out everything that he does with their children. She already laid it out. He's engaging with them in the most critical time where they need a man's voice to say, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You do all of them in this capacity, and that's how they. Now, if they had someone else, like you said, with the maid and somebody that can do all that, they wouldn't miss anything as far as being men because he's providing the man information that they need. Now, yes, they'll miss their mom, but let's just say if something was to happen to her, they would still have the balance based off of his information that he's giving them. He's giving them righteous information. He's going to love them to an expectation. He's going to have the expectation for them to be the best people they can be. Now, on the opposite side, the single mamas, they are a little bit more elite. Not you, Morphine, because you already
Because
spoke about.
I don't know what it's like to be a single mom. I don't know
But what I'm saying is a lot of women get to a space with their child, especially boys, when they get 12, 13, when that scrotum sac separate from their body, they let them figure it out on their own.
Yep.
Then they wonder why when they get 17 and they're a 6'8" monster out here in the streets. I don't know what happened to him. His daddy ain't in his life. So it's obvious that the male's presence plays a big role in boys, even in girls once they become teenagers. Because I'll be damned if I ain't never heard a man in all my life say, you know what, I wanted my daughter to grow up to be a stripper. I just wanted her to get out here and throw that cootie-cutter around. Ain't no man thinking like that. He's going to be on her back like, no, you can't do that. But he's going to teach her from an early age, respect yourself, respect your body. Now,
it is nothing. Let's get back to what Mrs. Fields said. It is nothing wrong with her ideal of thinking that her husband was just a better parent than she was at the critical time that they needed a parent at that age. Even I thought that. Like at a certain time, my son needed his father more than being around his mother. He didn't need to be under my behind all the time, trying to figure out why they don't make polish for boys.
but that didn't make it didn't make a person a better parent. It just y'all just understand that as a boy transitions, he needs another voice in his ear. You cannot listen, and I can say it from my own example, my personal life, and the boys that I mentored. Once the boy turns 13, 14, and his scrotum sac separate, he is no longer looking to mama to get her scent. He wants the scent of another young lady. He's actually looking to have sex for somebody. And if he's not getting that understanding from a man, like a lot of dudes end up being that don't get that, they out here sexual predators. They gonna screw anything. They don't care if they get a baby. The baby gonna lose out. They don't care about the woman because she just gave sex. He been told he ain't shit by all his family, so he like all women ain't shit because I ain't shit, and it is what it is. And just so y'all bringing both great points because y'all allowing y'all children to have balance. That's it. That's what the children need, balance. And yes, keep cooking the meals for them. Make your kids clean up your whole house, or they don't eat until they clean up. Make it like it's supposed to be.
I don't know what that is doing.
Y'all better.
Yo, shoot, we had an argument on Facebook. We got to wrap it up. We at the 2-hour mark, but I'm gonna end my last like this. We had an argument on Facebook about exactly how what you said last, Ferg, about the children cleaning the house, and a guy felt like this is what the man said. He felt like if she's not working, if she's supposed to take care of the house, then why I got the kids cleaning? Why you can't do that? And I was like, that teaches your kids discipline. That teaches them what to do in their own freaking house. And he was like, no, that doesn't teach them that. They can learn that by looking at you. And I'm like, so you're not really hands-on with your children? Like that's all I heard. I heard what I read what you said, but all I heard is you're not really hands on with your children, huh?
Yeah,
I mean,
that sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, that
and
sounds crazy. I ain't understand that. Like, what?
I'm a stay-at-home mom, right? We know that, and my boys still are required to clean up after themselves. And if I ask them to empty the dishwasher, they need to empty the dishwasher. If I say take out the trash, they need to take out the trash. Now, 95, I'll be honest, 95% of the time, by the time everybody gets home, everything's pretty much done because I'm a stay-at-home mom. What else I got to do? But I still hold them responsible for certain things. You're going to go out there and you're going to cut the grass with dad. You know what? Matter of fact, cut the grass before dad even get home. Okay? How about that one? Get the grass done before you
That part.
You see the trash is full, take the trash out. Is your room clean? Is your bathroom clean? Because they got the whole back end of the house. I don't touch their room. That's their responsibility. And that teaches them responsibility. And like I always tell them, like when you grow up and move out, do you think I'm gonna come clean your house? You think I'm gonna come do your laundry?
Right.
And cook for you? No.
How you gonna learn how to do laundry if you don't do your own laundry? How would you ever know? How would
See,
you?
I'm gonna tell you my story. See, I did not learn how to take care of any of this stuff until I was out on my own. The only thing I left my mom's house knowing how to do was my laundry and dishes.
So Maurice, let's just
Everything
be
else,
honest.
I'm telling you, hold on. Everything else, I had to learn while I was in a married relationship. And
So
trust
Maurice,
me, I had nothing but bumps and bruises the whole goddamn way.
no, Maurice.
Ah,
No,
he was
Maurice.
like, see, listen, this is the effect of not teaching your children this shit.
So what I'm
Like,
saying is, there's no way in hell I'm not teaching my kids from the beginning.
right.
So they don't ever have to go through what all I had to go through trying to figure this stuff out. I'm a grown man learning how to cook a regular meal, a normal meal, and I had to figure that junk out.
Maurice, let's just say what it is. Your ass was spoiled when you was a boy. Let's just say what it is. You was spoiled, brother.
No. Let me change
Maurice,
that
come on,
because I
man.
wasn't spoiled. No, let me change it. I wasn't spoiled. I was ignored. There's a difference.
Ignored.
Yeah, there's a difference. I wasn't spoiled. I was dismissed.
You needed somebody to talk to you every day.
No, I'm just saying I was ignored and dismissed, right?
I grew up
There's
in the
certain
house with my
aspects. There's a certain aspect of being spoiled. Spoiled means you're given attention to, and you're coddled. Whereas being dismissed and ignored is they were indifferent to you.
I get what he's saying. Look, think about it. Look, think about it like this, Ferg. Think about what they do to children in mental facilities. They get their clothes washed, they get fed, they get all the good, the good treatment, but they get ignored the whole time. Like most of the time, they get sent to their room. They in their room most of the time, or they're in spaces outside of the supervision, like where all the adults at and things of that nature. So 9 times out of 10, they are isolated a lot of the times. If that is what Maurice is saying, I definitely understand.
Maurice, was you your only child? Was you
No,
only
no,
child?
I was there with my sister, and my cousin lived with us for a while
Hold
too.
up. Who was the oldest?
What's up?
Who was the oldest of
I
children?
was technically the oldest, but my cousin came in.
So Maurice,
Hold
again.
on.
Let him finish.
My cousin came in, and he was there for the majority of my childhood, and he was older than us. So
Maurice,
things got funny. When I say so, that's what I'm making the distinction of being spoiled versus being neglected and ignored, because I wasn't given these instructions.
I'm gonna say this, and Maurice, I ain't even gonna bring you in it. I'm done with you. I salute my father for ignoring me, for giving me an expectation and say do that shit. I salute that, because one, I never went without anything. When I was a teenager, my mother hardly ever came in my room, and when she did, she kicked the door in like, "What the hell you doing up in here?" See, it wasn't none of that old. You just in her too quiet. I had to have some music playing. I had to have something. So salute to that type of mother who didn't allow me to just get lost in my own little room and feelings. Salute to that. Now again, it's a different time. Salute to my crack era children. Y'all just so precious. But here's the thing: as When I became of age, the first thing my father did was told me, you gonna work. Everything I don't do, you gonna do. And you gonna do it at a high level. I'm not gonna let you develop a mindset where you'll be lazy and not be able to at least take care of yourself. If you want a home, you're gonna have to learn how to take care of a home. But again, the messages that come from a father far exceed any other message a boy can get, or a girl, for a matter of fact.
Oh,
Because when a girl starts having low self-esteem, only a father can bring that esteem back.
Oh, I
When
thought
a
you
boy
was pushing back
starts
on what I said, Ferg.
Huh?
I thought you was pushing back on what I said.
No. I'm just
no,
saying.
we agree.
Listen, you was ignored because mom and them had to take care of business and do their thing. But you was technically the oldest child in the home. The cousin, he count, but he don't count. You came from the loins of your parents. So yes, listen. I was 40. I was like 41 when I first heard my father tell me he loved me. I never doubted in my mind, but I never doubted in my mind that he didn't love me.
Hold on, I'm 41 years old. I've
That
never
was the first time I ever heard my father tell me he loved me.
I've never heard my parents say they love me.
But again, that doesn't mean they don't love
Y'all
you.
didn't grow up hearing your parents say they love you?
No,
That's how
I
you
never
okay,
did.
okay. Better
My
question.
mother did,
Better
but not my
question.
father.
Better
My
question.
mother
Do you
never
tell your children?
hold
Do
on.
you tell your
My mother
children
ain't never
you love them?
said, you
Now,
know,
Like, did we learn
I
something
tell,
from this? I understand what happened. You can't control your parents and what they did, but did we learn something from this? Did y'all groom your children and be like, yo, listen, I love you from not time to time, but when it was time, like, yo, I love you.
that reminds me, Coach. I bet
Come
you know the movie off the top of your head. The Denzel Washington one, where the son and Denzel Washington are sitting there. Fences, and he says, "Well, why do you don't like me?" He said, "Boy, I ain't got to like you. Ain't my job to like you.
There you go.
It's my responsibility to take care of you.
There
Do
you
you
go.
eat? You got a roof over your head? All right, then. Don't you worry about nobody else liking you."
There you go. My father said the same thing.
Look, and I'm gonna be very transparent. When I first saw the video, the clip, I was like, "Oh God, that is horrible."
It's hard
But
to
then
watch.
when I watched it the second time, I was like, "That was incredible," because he was telling you that I love you, but I don't have to tell you I love you. I show you that I love you.
There you
Every
go.
day when I go to work, when I pay
There
these
you go.
bills, when I put food in your belly, when I take care of mama and I take care, put clothes on your back. I love you, but I ain't got to tell you I love you.
There you go. And most young people don't get that information. They don't get it. They thinking that, oh, they don't love me because they didn't talk to me. No, they thinking about the next thing they got to do to keep you protected, to keep you safe. So,
I got more to put on that, but I'm gonna let Morphine end this show.
Maurice, give me a hug.
Yeah,
man.
we
Give me a hug.
will help because I'm like, I don't agree with that. You got to tell your children you love them.
But that's
Like,
the
you
way
gotta
women
say
think.
it. It gotta be
That's the way
verbiage.
women
It
think,
gotta
though.
be something they hear, or they gonna go out in this world and look for that fucking verbiage somewhere else because they never got it at home.
But that's the way women think, though. Women think like that.
No.
So look, we're here to tell you that's what you're supposed to do. That's why the Lord made me, so you can know, babe. You should tell the baby that you love it sometimes.
It's a baby.
Like I
You don't
said,
just come out the blue, be like, son, I love you.
yeah, like I said,
Like,
there's a certain level of accuracy that's necessary here. It's a little bit these strokes are a little bit too broad for me. Like it's
Yeah.
not wrong. We're hitting the spots of the painting that we're supposed to hit. But we're doing a little bit more than we should, and we're missing certain areas that we should hit as well. So that's why I'm like, it's a little,
yeah, I get
it's
you
lacking
saying.
some
So
nuance, lacking some accuracy,
yeah.
but I get the sentiment.
All right, we're gonna end this. Thank you guys. Let's get you going around the board.
Go ahead,
Shout
Ferg. Go
yourselves
ahead.
out. Let's end this thing.
I mean, it's always a great topic. That's why I like coming over here. I appreciate you, Morphine. And Morphine, real quick, let me tell you something. In your natural state, that's top 10 right there. That's top 10. That's top 10. So every Monday, make sure you natural because that's top 10 right there. That's it.
I'm gonna try.
I mean, but with the topics, yes, we've seen how a lot of these societal enormities, well, I guess I ain't using the right word, have changed us as a nation of people, because we always seem to acquiesce to the easiest and the most ratchetest stuff that really makes us look bad. But if you want to change that dynamic for yourself and your children, you just have to do what's righteous. You know, we can't let our children just figure things out. We have to teach them. It's so much more info. And if we're not good with our words, guess what? YouTube has 1,000, 2,000 videos to get the same message that you need to get them out. Our children need to put the work. And when I say work, not just doing stuff, but they need activities. My last thing, the Olympics is coming in 4 years. If you got a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, get their lazy asses outside so they can get in these Olympics. And you can go to LA, get them outside, get them active. Because if not, understand, I'm going to tell y'all like I used to tell all my students, if you don't put in the work now, you'll be poor for a long time. It doesn't change if you don't put in the work. Put in the work early. So when you get old and ugly like me, you can start to relax based off the work that you put in. Other than that, don't come crying to me, because I can't do nothing but pat you on the back and feed you until you get back out there, because that's just the way life is. But don't be afraid. Not do anything out of fear. Just go out there and try your best. Only thing you can do is fail. You can try again, something else, but don't limit yourself. The world is going to do that enough. So salute, Morphine. Salute, y'all.
Maurice?
Yo. Thank you for this time. This was actually a pretty good topic. I like it. I had it all formulated while Ferg was talking. Now my mind going blank. But
He's like that.
But okay. What it is, I think a lot of the issues that we've been dealing with all throughout is because I think it's a trauma response, or even like an extra, or too much swing of the pendulum. I think for the majority of our history, we've seen the problems and the pathologies that come from over discipline. Right, we know what that is. We know it so well, we fear it. Right, we know what it looks like when there's been too much discipline placed in a home, too much discipline placed on a child, too much discipline, and this idea of constraining people, and people bucking from that, looking for freedom, looking for liberty. And we know what that looks like, and we're fearful of that. And there's a certain level of trauma response. But I think, like I said, we're on the other side of this pendulum here. We know the tyranny of discipline very well. And we're learning now the tyranny of compassion. Because all these issues, all these new age issues, it's all around this compassion, or this this overall acceptance of people's plea for victimhood. Right? So there's this tyranny of compassion where there's no second guessing if someone is complaining of a pain or a hurt or a discomfort. They're morally superior just because they've claimed that. I don't care what everything that we've talked about, whether it was Black Lives Matter, Me Too movement, Believe All Women, all these things is that tyranny of compassion. So I think the hope, or what I hope to have accomplished, is to get this balance down, right? We need discipline back, because getting rid of it altogether is causing this other issue. And in going back to get discipline, it doesn't mean we're getting rid of compassion. And then they need to play off each other. And to end that, come check me out on my YouTube channel. That's Maxi Studio Music, spelled lowercase M-A, capital X, lowercase S-I, Studio Music. Make sure you check your spell check, because sometimes I'd be switching up on us. It says Maxis instead of Maxi. So make sure you check it out. Check out my music. Come like and subscribe. And hope to hear from y'all. Thank you.
All right, Miss Fields, your last little comments? Anything you
All
want
right,
to say?
I'll make mine quick, because I'm gonna just put it all for the topic as a whole. I think that, and this might even be it could be an unpopular opinion, but if I now looking back on the conversation that we had tonight, which was great, by the way, not really much has changed except for technology. I think the same shit that we're kind of going through now, we were going through back then. But the only difference is now that people are taping it, recording it, putting it on social media, putting it on entertainment. So as far as social media goes, like, just for a brief example, people have been committing paternity fraud for decades. But it's just recently that we have the technology to actually do DNA testings and find out who, in fact, is the father of the child, right? So it's not that these things haven't been going on all this while. It's just that technology has really pulled the Band-Aid, pulled that scab off of the wound, and it bleeds, and it shows everybody exactly who we are and who we always have been. That's pretty much my ending statement. And yeah, I'm gonna be thinking about this later on tonight. I'm gonna be busting Billy's head on this one.
Well,
Morphe, before you go, I just want to say, Miss Fields, tell your husband thank you for coming up, sharing. Appreciate him. Be strong.
Always.
Appreciate y'all. Morphine, always. Maurice, stop crying, brother. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, son, man. What? Yo, I get no love
This
too.
has been
Yo,
another
I'm
more
calling.
conversations with the
I need my
average black
compliments
man.
too,
Thank
man.
you. Thank y'all guys for watching. Thank y'all for coming. Until next Monday.
All right.